Yeah, yeah.
Given an enabling environment, babies really do thrive in starting to make decisions for themselves.
But what we should see is, within kind of half an hour, even sooner, that they settle into their day. And actually, it's looking for changes in the body. They often come in quite tense. But what you should see is that kind of relaxation, and they begin to be really absorbed in what they're doing.
They weren't extraordinary parents. They were excellent parents in extraordinary circumstances.
Right, yes, yes.
So they were doing all the beautiful things that you'd want a parent to do, and we'll come on to what those might be in a minute. And it wasn't, as Tony said, about the time.
That's a brilliant, transition into thinking, okay, where are people getting their ideas about how to do drop off and pick up? Because we do them every day. Yeah. Right? When you start to think about that, okay, so where do we get our ideas about how that should happen?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's happening in one of two ways.
Either a very positive start in life or a more challenging start in life. And I think that is why, for me, this area of learning and development is hugely important, and that it's hugely important that we get it as right as we can. Our babies, toddlers and 2-year-olds.
Another male there to be of reassurance to me. And as a role model growing up, I had a male mentor who... his mum owned a small day nursery.
In an ideal transition, you want year one to be far more like reception than you do reception becoming like year one in the third term. Yeah. Again, it's very common, especially in primary schools, where they say, right, you've had enough time faffing about in the sand and water. Third term, let's get the sand and water.
And what I explain in this training is that if we think of the actual size of the cups as quite static, they stay the same most of the time throughout our lifespan, but they're varying levels of full and empty. So you might have a really big power cup, but today it's full because you got to do all this stuff with grandma and grandpa on the weekend.
One of the core deficits of autism is communicating and interacting with the world around them. So how can we navigate through all the stages of personal, social and emotional development with children that may never meet
children? The most important thing to do is to be able to offer these traces that we collect back with the children. And sometimes that's as easy as just turning the camera around or turning the tablet around so that they can see themselves.
Experience anxiety at different times in their lives, which is normal. But it's about how we as adults support those children with those transitions.
I think
so, for example,
the whole idea of the Reggio Emilia approach is a very social one. It's about relationships. It's about the pedagogy of listening. So by enabling children to be able to listen not only to the teacher but to each other, and the teachers being able to listen better to the children, you establish the social emotional.
So one of the chapters in the book that I wrote was on adult well-being, and I think that's probably the most important chapter actually of that initial book, because I feel what I was beginning to see was if the adults who are looking after the children aren't in a good place themselves, then that's very difficult for those children, for them to be
Emotional development and well-being and early brain development are inextricably linked. The babies are programmed for socialization. They expect and need love in order to thrive. If we think about Erikson's first stage of
Professor Love has realized that if you don't have a good sense of well-being that he refers to as feeling like a fish in water, then actually your involvement in any kind of deep level learning isn't going to really happen. And we can really...
And at the same time as those early reflexes are being inhibited or integrated, they are gradually either replaced or transformed into a group of postural reactions, which give a child, in a general sense, control of balance, coordination.